In this video, we are going to look at the fourth chapter, Equality for All, in our test-driven development example here. Now, we refactored our dollar object to be, I'm using air quotes, value objects. It's kind of an older term, but still somewhat applicable to modern Java development because the dollar object just essentially holds a value. So values of 5 and 10 would be represented as two different objects. So if you need a different value, you create a different object. So you need every different value is going to be a different object. Now, because it is a air quotes value object, we need to be able to tell if two objects are equal. So if we have two dollar objects that have been initialized with 5, they should be equal. Now, the default Java equals is just going to say, are these two objects the same object sharing the same memory location? So we can't use that. So we need to override that. So on our to-do list, I've added a new task there, and you can see that it's bold. We are going to go in and implement the equals method so that we can tell that these two objects are in fact equals. So I'm going to jump over to IntelliJ and we'll take a look at that now. So we're going to come in and create a new test. So to do this on OS X, you use Command N, which brings us this dialog, and we say test method, and we are going to say test equality. And what we should be able to say is assert equals new $5. So we have two objects that we're initializing, and in theory, we want this to be true, that they do in fact equal each other. So let's go ahead and run our test, and we will see that even though there is equality implemented on Java, because that does come from the default object, we can see here that they are in fact two different objects, so the assertion fails. So let's come back here to our dollar object. Now what we want to do is public and we're just going to do a simple return true. So now we have our equals method that has been implemented. And let's come in and rerun our test. And this should now be true. And now we can see that that does in fact work for this test. But what if we have this, assert not equals new $5 and new $8. So clearly not equal. So let's go ahead and run that. And we can see we're always returning true. So of course, that is going to be the case. So let's go ahead and implement that. We can say so we're going to do cast of the object to $. Now we can say like so. So now we still have a couple problems. Our amount field is still publicly available, but now we're going to say that, and we can see that this should work now. So now we can see that we have two test cases that we set up, and let's double check that. So now we can see we have two test cases set up, new $5 and 5, so we have the same objects, and then we are using the assert not equals. So we have two different dollars, one of 5 and one of 8. So now our implementation is in fact working. So what we can do is, if you are studying this, you can see that there's still some problems with our code. So if I passed a null in here, that would definitely go kaboom. If I passed a non-dollar object in here, that would go kaboom too. So we're not happy about that at all. But what we are going to do is hold on to those thoughts. And let's toggle back over to our to-do list. Going back to our to-do list, we can see that I've crossed off implementing the equals, but now hash code is a very commonly used function that we want to be able to implement on our object as well. And then obviously the method that we implemented, if we passed a null in there, we'd get an NPE for sure. And if we passed a different object in there, that would fail as well. So we'd get a runtime exception there. So we put those on our to-do list, and we will do those in a future video.